So what actually is the condition? It says if you come to purify yourself, then you are given help, you're given support, and the support is in um, the support feature itself as the Holy Spirit. So it means that first you get a sense of actually the core identity of the name of the journey. Okay. But in Hebrew, definitely tribulation or suffering comes carry different sense. It carries the sense of being able to carry, which has to do with sevil suffering, and Isurim has to do with what we most probably would translate to tribulations, would be to actually being able to move away from something. Yeah, it means, and you know that how difficult it is to move away from, even a very simple habit. Definitely in terms, it feels as though you're losing something. It's a sense of lost. Not only I'm being lost, but there's almost sense of not being able to cope, because the very essence of what held the form of myself, or the recognition, the concept of myself, is being taken away. Now, when it happens externally, it actually feels like you're in a war, or something really is shifting in a very noticeable, in a very interfering way, within my life. So I experience it as actually tribulation.
Not sorrow.
Yeah, and that is to do more with tribulation and sorrow, but suffering has to do with that which life need to be able to carry. And it has to do with, as well, I would say, the practical stamina of being able to cope with even, the event of corporeal life. Okay. So definitely to be able to carry, even, or to be patient to the sense of being able to move from state to state within, I would say, in spirituality. You can say that there is suffering and sorrow within growth as well, because you separate, and you being separated from a state in which you invested a lot of effort to get used to. You need to get used to being a child, and then you lose childhood. And then you come into puberty, and then you lose puberty in order to become an adult. And you lose adulthood in order to become old, the capacity of it. So we're actually moving from state to state. So within that, there is always a soul of departing from a state. Okay. So it translates itself inwardly within, if we speak about a spiritual journey, into being able to actually translate, and more than translate, being able to use those transitional states into a conscious growth. You cannot actually interfere with your movement from birth to, to being a baby, to being a child, You cannot change anything in that. But within spiritual journey, you can put yourself into impregnation. You can be aware of um, of being small and what it actually prepares you for, and being grown up and what actually demands from you. And you can actually get yourself into those states in order to be a conscious participant within your spiritual growth, which you cannot do in corporeal existence.
So is it possible to reach Kedusha through joy? Or is it only through sorrow or tribulation?
Mm. I'll ask you simple: are you happy when you find that you are solid, that you need purification? Are you happy to see yourself not clean? No. So from this unhappiness, you move into a happiness of being, of that there is an ability, there is a river in which you are able to bathe.
But there's also the joy of song, the joy of dance, the joy of movement, the joy of all of this. And
Hmm.
is that a pathway to Kedusha?
The pathway to Kedusha is actually um, being able to sense uh, the, I would say, the pulse of life. So the expression of it can be poetry, dance. It's an expression. It's not the thing itself.
Ah,
You're speaking about what can dress it, what can actually be the expression of it. But Kedusha is the very sense of life, the very presence of it, the very, it's like, uh, it's like something has been with no life, and suddenly you feel the a movement of a pulse beneath something that you could not even fathom that it has life in it. Okay, so there you can say there's a joy, but I think it starts with with a sorrow. It gives value to happiness.
yeah. So I would describe my own journey as it wasn't through suffering, but it was a
Mm,
sense of missing. I
mm,
felt I had reached a plateau and something was still missing that I couldn't reach.
mm. Yeah, missing is it's essential. You don't have to go through, uh, you don't need to go through Auschwitz in order to get to the spiritual need. Uh, s- Actually, if you go through it, you can. It's very rare that you can reach it
Yeah.
because you're too occupied. Um, so I think that what you're describing uh, is the most privileged state, but usually we miss it because it's too convenient. And so to actually get the sense of the suffering, tribulation, the sorrow that belongs to it has to do with the way we identify with divinity. Not so much through ourself, but you can say through a third party. So actually it has to do with empathy. It's not the suffering that I go through, the suffering that I cause. That is actually the purest sense of spiritual journey. Because if it goes too much to myself, to my sorrow, to my suffering, it's very difficult to actually emulate the sympathy and empathy for divinity. Yeah. Okay.